Can I steal you for a minute?
Steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you for a minute?
Welcome to Can I Steal You for a Minute, the reality dating recap podcast. My name is Indra Raj.
And I'm Mary Bianco.
Whoa, we have a lot to cover this week.
It was like 15 hours of television that we're trying to cram into 2-ish hours.
I mean, Love is Blind alone, because every episode is like an hour and 15 minutes, is like, it's more than 6 hours. It's like almost 8 hours.
Yeah.
And like, you can't, it's not one of those shows that I can ignore.
No.
Like, I have to be watching it because there's little things that happen all the time that like give you, I don't know, clues or whatever.
But then like at the same time, I'm like, so much of this could have been cut.
I know. It was...
There's so many couples that ended that we spent so much time with.
I know.
And
like
their ending wasn't even that dramatic. I'm like...
I know. It's like 6 episodes in the pods.
Insane.
And then so I was looking at Netflix because they show you the whole layout. So when this episode's dropped, it will be Friday and 3 more episodes will have come out.
Yeah.
Then the following week, 3 more episodes. And then the following week is the finale. That's longer than last season. Like last season, it was at least 2 or 3 episodes shorter than that, maybe even including the reunion.
Yeah.
And I mean, last season was definitely kind of a dud. Like,
I mean, this one...
I don't know. I'm not like, I feel like it's going to get good.
I hope
and
so.
I've actually even enjoyed it so far. Like, I know people are like so bored, but I don't know. I've enjoyed it enough, I guess.
I think I'm just more disappointed that I can't tell any of the characters apart. I have their pictures pulled up because I don't know who's who because they all look the fucking same.
They all look the same.
And we only ended up with one couple of color. Everyone else is white.
And there were definitely other people of color who were there towards the end. So you know that their relationships went far, if not, like, we all know that like at least 2 to 3 more couples every season get engaged and then they don't get invited on the honeymoon or whatever. So I bet that there was at least 1 or 2 other couples with someone of color in them. I don't know. Yeah, it was a very, like, we can all just acknowledge it's a very white, conservative white season.
Yeah, really conservative in a very weird way.
When I heard the words Joe Rogan come out of Meg's mouth,
I was like, you're pretending you're like this hippy dippy girl.
I know. Cut this shit, Meg.
I mean, we talked about it. We saw each other yesterday, not to brag.
Yeah,
but
we saw each other.
We were talking about it yesterday where it was like the crunchy hippie to alt-right pipeline is very real and on display in Meg.
Yes, like the whole conspiracy theory, like she absolutely would have voted for RFK Jr.
Yeah.
Like all of that shit is like, it's very close together.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why are you even listening to Joe Rogan? Like, what is wrong with you?
I didn't
understand. Like her.
No,
she
I didn't
bothered
either.
me.
I didn't either. I thought it was very like just diving into her, very trying to be like, I'm so weird. I'm not like the other girls. I'm so weird. And it's like whenever a girl is always trying to set herself apart and be like, I'm not like other girls, that's misogyny and I don't really fuck with it. Like
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just like the other girls and I'm very proud of it. And
yeah.
This whole other like, well.
Oh, well, I'm different.
I'm not really like that. It's like
And she was trying so hard to be the cool girl.
And I feel bad sometimes when that happens too, because then it's like I see the insecurity because
totally
I used to be like that and I'm happily grown out of it.
Yes. Yeah, she got like a little better throughout the season. Like she was so hyperactive in the beginning that I was like, I cannot. And like Mason couldn't get a word in with her, but he was still somehow, I don't know. I feel like that might have been a turnoff for him in the beginning. And like, okay, I just have a bone to pick. You may disagree with me, but I fucking hate the movie Inception. And if I hear one more person tell me that Inception is their favorite movie, I'm gonna fucking scream.
It's a movie for people who want to sound smart.
Yeah.
But if you've seen the movie, it's not actually all that smart.
No, it's just like annoying. Like it's just like these things happen that you think are cool, but they're not actually cool.
I one time was talking to someone and I keep getting Interstellar and Inception confused.
Yeah.
And Interstellar is incredible.
Yeah.
And so I'm having this whole conversation with this person and we're like, oh my God, that's an amazing movie. And I'm talking about Interstellar and they're talking about Inception. And then they're like, yeah. And then like, he's like in the dream. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, this is something different.
Yeah.
I also like need to see Interstellar again because I think I went into it expecting something and then it was not that, and I was so like upset about that
Yeah.
I couldn't like appreciate it for what it was. And I've heard enough people who I like truly respect say that they appreciate Interstellar that I'm like, okay, I need to give it a second go around. Mason and Meg talking about how not Interstellar. Inception is their favorite movie. I'm like, we know who these people are. Like, I'm never taking a movie review advice.
100%. Whenever someone's like, oh, Christopher Nolan's my favorite director. It's like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. I also like Tenet, one of his more recent films, is actually one of the worst movies I've ever
I've
seen.
never
like,
even seen it.
Don't waste your time. It doesn't make any sense. Like the whole thing is like this premise on like things. There's a lot of like backwards shooting happening in it, which is supposed to be cool, but it's just like I fell asleep like 20 times.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I saw a meme recently about Christopher Nolan, and it was, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like pointing out that like he will never give a shit about developing a female character like ever in any of his movies, and it's so true.
No, she's either like a harpy nagging wife like Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer,
or like a sexy scientist,
or like a whore like Florence Pugh. Like it's never gonna.
She's like literally a whore.
Yeah, she's literally and naked for some reason in the interrogation. So
yeah,
I think. Yeah, he's not interested in developing female characters. He doesn't really care, which I like almost have to respect because if you don't want to try and you're not going to do a good job, then whatever.
It's his point of view. Whatever. Yeah. It's not great for like society.
They're like very visually appealing movies.
They are.
I understand that they are beautiful, but like I did Oppenbee, so I saw Oppenheimer and then Barbie like on the same day.
Oh, you did it.
And I just was like, Barbie's better than this. And I don't really care.
I actually thought Oppenheimer was a really excellent movie.
It was, but like Barbie had a better story. I know.
I can't really compare the two. Honestly, they're like such different genres.
Yeah.
But like it is still such a tragedy. Sorry, this is such a tangent, but it's such a tragedy that Greta Gerwig did not get nominated for Best Director for that movie.
She really should have.
I'm so mad about that. Okay, anyway. He's also like talking. So, okay, we're into it now. We're talking about Mason and Meg, and we'll get to Madison next.
Who else was Meg talking to? What was the other guy?
No one.
No one?
I don't think she was talking to anyone.
Thought she had
like
another
maybe
guy.
she talked to someone in the first 2 episodes, but honestly, I can't even remember. Like I don't think she was talking to anyone else. And her whole thing was that like it was always Mason for her.
Right.
She was one track Mason, and she was bothered that he was talking to Madison as well.
Yeah.
And it seemed like both of them knew that they were talking to Mason in the women's quarters like pretty early on.
Yeah.
But like Mason is such an idiot. Like, we have to talk about Madison. Mary, I cannot wait to hear what you think about Madison because I think she's the most interesting part of these first 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But him walking in with a full breakfast and then trying to say that he was going in there to question what they had instead of propose to her is out of control.
They made a joke about how she loves a cream pie.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was like, Madison, don't try to be cool. Don't, whatever.
Yes.
And he gave her a cream pie at breakfast with her food.
Yes.
But he's going to go break up with her. He's going to bring
Like,
an inside joke to break
He's
up with her.
actually going to talk about how things didn't feel right the day before.
Yeah.
Like, he was so quick
Yeah.
to completely change course and be like, actually, I knew there was something wrong and I was going to call it out. And it's like,
So classic.
Bro, what the fuck?
It's so classic of him, like
It is.
of these men, and so many of them did it. And I think that's why I kept, beyond them all looking the same,
Right.
I kept getting them confused because they were all doing the same annoying patterns of like,
Right.
as soon as the girl says something that you maybe don't like, it's like switching it up on her and being like, oh, I never wanted you anyway, and why would you think that I wanted you? And it's like,
Yeah.
and everything we're learning about these men is like confirming that.
Okay, so should we get into some tea? Is there tea that we need to know about?
Well, not Mason,
Okay,
but about
Alex,
and
Daniel.
Daniel is just a piece. Oh yeah, Daniel. David is just a piece of shit, and everyone just knew that. Like that's not
Right.
a surprise.
What's the tea on Alex? Like I need to know.
Basically, that he's just been trying to get famous forever, and
Okay.
he is notorious for gaslighting the shit out of girls that are new to town. And this girl got on TikTok, and her name is Andra or Andra. And she didn't go into specifics, but she was basically like, there's a man on Love is Blind who wanted to be like a famous baseball player, but then went into real estate and like then tried to do YouTube. And he's like the reason I don't trust men anymore. Like we literally would have an argument, and then the next day he would tell me that it didn't happen the way that I said, and just made her feel very unsafe. And then someone found that he had business cards made up for his YouTube channel that he would just give away to everybody.
Oh.
And I guess right after the season, right after he got engaged, we saw he got engaged to Sarah, which we can talk about them more, obviously.
Oh, wait. Okay. It's not Alex. You're talking about Ben.
I'm talking about Ben, sorry.
Okay. I'm like, no, not Alex.
No, Alex does have bad stuff.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's actually worse.
Oh, God. Okay. So let's close it out with Ben.
So closing it out with Ben. Sorry, I cannot keep these men apart. This might be an annoying
well,
episode.
Ben and Mason, like, I'm not kidding
They have the
you.
same
I
fucking
thought
face.
they were the same person for 3 episodes.
They have the
like,
same
I'm not
face.
exaggerating.
And they act the same. I'm like,
They
how?
have the same face, the same hair, everything the same.
How did this get past casting?
I don't know.
I get casting them, but how do you make them both integral to the season?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm yelling. I'm so annoyed.
I'm definitely yelling. Okay, so
So just to finish with Ben, and I'm going to rip him apart for his bullshit answers to Sarah and tear into her a little bit too. Obviously, it's our podcast and politics came up.
Yeah. This is our safe space.
This is our safe space. But to finish up with him, he's like gaslighting. He's been trying to get famous forever. He went to the bars right after he got engaged to Sarah and was like hitting on girls and telling them how Love is Blind ended up.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, that's what they're all saying.
Well, why am I not surprised?
I'm not surprised
Like,
in the least.
This guy is dumb as shit, and he's so bland, and he's just like, of course he's doing that. Of course he's doing that.
Of course. And like all these men are like mid-level attractive enough that like they think they can get away with everything.
And he's so like smarmy looking.
God, I know.
Major smarm.
Major smarm.
Okay, I'm so sad to hear that Alex is a piece of shit. Tell me.
When he was in his 20s,
okay,
him and his friends would throw parties and only invite girls in their teens.
What?
This is all alleged, but there are multiple people coming together on the internet to say this. Like 15, 16, 17 years old.
How old is he now? Early 30s.
29.
Okay, that's inexcusable. I mean, there's like really, that's disgusting.
Yeah. And apparently he would tell them the same shit where he was like, I was bullied when I was younger. And people have pulled up his yearbook and they're like, he was in a band. He was not fat. He was not bullied. He actually looks exactly the same in high school. I don't know what he's talking about. So just not a great dude.
Okay. That's really disappointing because he was the only guy who I was like, you're decent.
I felt
and he's not.
I felt off about him. Like Someone on TikTok, I think it was Tell the Bees actually, who we've mentioned on here before, was talking about how there's like so many manic pixie dream girls on this season. And like,
Are there though?
like Meg and Madison are both kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I always picture brunettes with that, but
of Zooey
you definitely
Deschanel.
can be a blonde manic pixie dream girl. I mean, definitely Madison. Like Meg is on the line for me.
Yeah. I think like two different types where it's like, I'm so quirky, I'm so weird. And one's just like, you'll never understand me, whatever.
Right.
And so I think that Alex really liked that Madison was like, and I'll put this in quotes, like damaged and needed saving, but then
Right.
doesn't actually want to be the person that is loving somebody who's grappling with some very real shit.
Right.
And so to me, I was kind of like, do you really love her, or are you just kind of like obsessed with this idea of yourself that you'll be the one to help her?
Yeah, he definitely had this like savior thing, except exactly what you're saying. He didn't like want to do the work
Yeah.
to actually help. Like he was, every time she brought up something that was like a potential thing that could be difficult, he was like, "Oh, I have to think about that."
He's
and
like,
it's like,
oh, do you mind if I take a second by myself? It's like, it's her trauma she's sharing with you.
right.
And you're like, I have to think about that. It's like, shut up.
I mean, yeah, and like I guess I sort of understand that if you know that this is ending in an engagement, like wanting to talk about it or think about it or whatever. But you're right, there was just something a little bit like immediately like shutting down about that, where it was like, well, you talk a big game, but are you really backing this up?
Yeah.
It was unclear to me like what the thing that Madison was describing that she had issues with. Like I thought maybe I missed something, but when she said like it was unclear to me what it was.
Like her
she was-
avoidant attachment style.
no, like later on she was like, it started when I was 17.
Oh, I don't
And
remember.
it was like she was talking about like being forgetful about things sometimes.
Oh, like
or
repressed memories.
something like that. Yeah. It was very unclear. Like and it's probably just like something she experiences that doesn't have like a diagnosed name
Yeah.
for it or whatever. But I was a little confused at that. But
I think what she was talking about was like her childhood was so deeply traumatic that
Right.
her therapist have told her it's like pretty normal for her to have repressed memories and it affects her memory going forward.
right.
So just for context, if anybody hasn't watched, you're probably so confused, but Madison opened up that both her parents were addicts and her stepfather was an addict as well. And
Yeah.
she grew up in a very religiously strict household, and she didn't say it directly, but it sounds like there was at least verbal abuse going on.
Right.
And she basically had to be the parent to her parents since she was very young. And so
Yeah.
she likes to be very independent. She likes to handle her own shit, which is like a totally normal response because if you always have to, you're not going to rely on anybody else. And
Right.
Alex was like not ready for that.
No, like that was a lot. And I think that, and again, it's like, it's hard to know with her because like there is so much trauma and you don't want someone to be like totally unavailable because
Yeah.
of that. And with Alex, I think it was like, again, he just like wasn't actually truly ready to handle something like that. Do I think there is? Like, yes.
Yeah.
But so then there's like Madison herself.
Yeah.
Which like, I just want to hear from you, like what your thoughts, impressions about Madison, because wow.
I like think I like her.
Right.
I think she like handled herself well in the pods. Like I think and she handled the situation between the two guys really well in my mind, like calling Mason out, being like, you tried to be overly committed to both girls and kind of like skirt around to be like, oh yeah, I always wanted it this way and I always wanted the other girl, even though you were like fully committed to me and then you backed out. She also like when we posted like because when Alex was I think it was in the breakup conversation, Alex was breaking up with her, he was like weirdly defending Mason.
Right.
And this is like a weird thing that boys do is like, even if it's your girlfriend, they'll still defend their friends. And it's like, she literally broke up with Mason to be with you. And you're
Right.
still like going to bat for Mason. And she DM'd us being like, this is the correct take.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you love each other so much, just get married.
Yeah. I mean, okay, that's interesting. I liked her a lot at certain points.
Yeah.
And was like, I appreciated how honest she was, how she really told her partner like what she needed. She didn't hide behind anything that's happened to her. She didn't really avoid tough conversations, which like you do need to do when things are moving this quickly, and probably just in general in a romantic relationship. I actually felt that the way that she handled everything with Alex and, well, especially Mason and Meg to some extent, was pretty manipulative.
Interesting.
And I think she led Mason on for a while past when she should have. I think Madison, for all of her like fantastic qualities and all that she's been through, I think that she really craves and like needs validation.
Yeah.
And the way she was with Mason, the overly sexualized everything with him, like just their connection was almost like purely sexual.
Yeah,
I felt.
I was gonna say like purely physical, but they hadn't seen each other. It was
Right.
just the way they talked was only about sex.
Yeah, and it was like you could just tell she enjoyed kind of having power over him in that way and sort of reeling him in that way. Whereas with Alex, who was a person she ultimately chose, like there was none of that. Like it was very PG with them.
Yeah.
And like when Alex was pulling away, when they first had that conversation about her avoidant attachment style, she like immediately like turned it into something that like she was like, no, I need to like keep this person in my orbit.
Yeah.
Like she needs to be in control and she needs validation. And I also didn't think she was a great listener.
No, I think that because of everything that's happened to her, she's like always going to have the most interesting story.
Right.
And when you're like that, it's kind of hard to, not hard, but like it's easy to forget that other people's stuff is still important. Like even if it's not as dramatic or as big a deal as yours, like their little traumas and their little idiosyncrasies are still just as important as the stuff that's happened to you.
Right. And it was even stuff that wasn't traumatic. It wasn't like the big stuff. It was like little things in conversation. Like, you know how I am. I really pay attention to how people communicate. And it really bothers me when someone cannot just respond to what someone has said to them without talking about themselves, like bringing it back to themselves. And she did that every time. Like, that's just like her way of being. And I also just think she needs to be right. Every single time.
Yeah.
And I thought that like the stuff with Meg, it didn't sit right with me. Like I do think that Mason and Meg should have had a chance.
Yeah.
But in a way, like Madison made sure that that wasn't going to be possible. Like she, in the women's quarters, was telling the story in front of all the women in front of Meg, just like, you can't be with Mason, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and she wasn't saying that, but she was like, he's a bad person, all these things. Like if you choose him now. And like Meg had her own agency in that too, %. But I do think that if Meg and Mason had left the pods together, I think Madison would have freaked out. Like I think she would have been super upset about it.
I mean, I think it's still gonna happen because we see like at the party that Meg and Mason walk in holding hands, right? And I'm like glad that if Meg and Mason aren't together because their conversations, like their conspiracy theory conversations, were pretty dangerous. Like they were headed in a way that was like not
QAnon
great.
shit.
QAnon shit. Like that
raw milk,
glowing stone inside of the pyramids. And then them realizing that they didn't have any facts to back it up. Like
but there was literally no pictures of this.
There's no pictures. I've only seen grainy pictures of it. Wait, maybe that means it's not real. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, like Mason, come on. Yeah.
The deep conservative undertones on this season, like we say it every single season, like it just predicts the way the country is going because like almost... You know, 2 seasons ago when we were in Raleigh, we had very traditional conservatism, like very like, you know, man of the house, whatever. That was what was going on now. Now, 2 seasons later, we've ended up in this space where it's very conspiracy theorist, very like, oh, I don't know much about politics, but I want lower taxes. And it's just really interesting to see play out again.
Yeah, especially like, well, so this all happened like a year ago.
Yeah.
They're talking about Valentine's Day and stuff. So it's pre-election, but it's also in an election year.
Yeah.
When this stuff is really top of mind for people. And it's just, yeah, it was just like, I mean, there's no hiding the conservatism.
No.
And in every single couple. So, I mean, if we move on, I mean, I don't know if there's anything more to say about Madison. I've been thinking about Madison a lot.
Yeah.
I just think that she's really interesting to me because I don't like not like her. I just think that she is manipulative in ways that maybe like she doesn't even recognize.
I think that that's true. Like, I think that to her, it's like everything is very, it's like this very deep sense of right and wrong instead of there being gray area. And you're right. She does need these like rules and these determinations. And so it's like, well, it didn't work with me, so he's wrong for everyone. And it's like, well, that's not, necessarily the case, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see them after.
Yeah.
When they kind of all come together.
Yes. It will be
because
very interesting.
I think it's going to get messy. Yeah.
It's going to get really messy. And like Madison is going to, like, the other thing is that like Madison is very beautiful.
Yes.
So, and she wanted everyone to know that too.
Yeah.
She hinted at that, or not even hinted, basically said that to Mason and Alex to make sure they knew that she's like always the hottest girl in the room.
Yeah.
And that's also like, we see this on so many of these shows where all these hot women get together and they're like, I'm not the hottest woman in the room anymore. Like, what do I do?
Fuck?
My life is ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be I'm really looking forward to, and I'm hoping that we spent so much time with these people in the first 6 episodes because there's going to be more.
Yeah, I feel like I think so much of this season, weirdly enough, is going to be about like the broken up couples. Because they didn't take us straight to the honeymoons after like 3 or 4 episodes because we're going to see so much after, which is really interesting because it's like, so then the show is admitting that they're cooked because love is not blind. None of these people can make it work until they see each other in person, and then now they can make it work.
100%.
All of a sudden.
Oh, okay. So do we go to Ben and Sarah next? Because we talked about Ben a little bit.
I hate Ben.
I hate Ben.
And Sarah got my hopes up.
Could have followed through.
Yeah. My friend Sahara had a funny comment on our post because I make our memes as I'm watching.
Yes.
And like, I wanted to lead with a cast photo because just full transparency, people click more on cast photos. It gets them to the post. So I was like, I already had this meme about Sarah leading it off, but it was like, Sarah, good, treat these things like red flags because, and my friend Sahara was like, yeah, but where's the follow through, Sarah? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's right.
Right.
There was no follow through, which is like so typical white feminism, which is like talking a big game about how you really care about these social issues and how George Floyd dying changed your life and you can't believe that people don't know about it. And then it's as soon as it's time to like call your partner out or like boycott a company or actually do something, it's not convenient anymore and it's not as fun to just say it.
Right. I mean, she was saying like it's a part of who I am now.
Yeah.
Like that's like some deep verbiage to use about like how you are with social justice issues. And then at a certain point, you do need to back it up with your actions. And choosing a romantic life partner is maybe one of the biggest ones. Like all this bullshit talk throughout this season around why do politics have to play into it?
We can still be friends.
It's like literally your political beliefs are directly attached to your moral compass.
100%.
And how you move through the world and how you think humans should be treated. And like Sarah had some really nice things to say. She's like, basic human rights and equality are important to me. And you're sitting here marrying this guy who doesn't vote?
He doesn't vote. And like, I just want to check his age. He doesn't vote. He didn't get involved at all in, and she had a good point where it was like, George Floyd happened in
Minneapolis.
Was murdered in their town.
Yes.
And to not know anything about it, Sarah, he knows shit about it. He just disagrees with you. Like, like maybe he didn't vote, but he didn't think that it mattered because he knows exactly what's going on and he does not give a fuck. He's 28 years old. He's old enough to know what's going on.
Yes.
And he knows what's going on and he's decided that it doesn't matter to him. And you can't fix that in people. They either give a shit or they don't.
No. And she said that. Like, she said that herself.
And she still got engaged to him. I was like, how can you get engaged to somebody who feels this differently than you do? You cannot change him. He's going to be around his friends. They're going to be talking about how none of this actually fucking matters. And when he was like, yeah, I have friends with different political beliefs than me, and I feel like our generation is so good about still being friends. The only people who say, I wish we could still be friends are fucking Trump supporters, because they know that their politics are absolute garbage and heinous.
Right.
And they want to get away with being heinous.
Right.
And they don't like if you take something away from them, like friendship. And how can you be so fucking mean? It's like, I'm not being mean.
Yeah.
You're a dickhead.
Yeah.
Look at the situation you put us in. It's made me so
and
mad to watch this season back.
And now it's like knowing the tea about him, just like wanting to be famous. It like, I felt like the way he was being so gushy and lovey-dovey felt fake to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I don't see this working out. Like, I don't see real connection between these two. And now it's like, of course, he's just saying whatever she wants him to say.
100%.
He did say all these things about, oh, I can't wait to learn and grow with you. Like, you're going to be able to, like, bring me on this journey and whatever. Like, you're absolutely right. He has no interest in it.
No.
Like, he's not a total idiot. Like, he would be able to. These aren't, like, concepts that people cannot understand. He's chosen not to understand them. He's chosen not to engage in processes like voting that help everyone in our like society thrive.
Yeah.
He's chosen not to do that.
He's gone out of his way to not do it.
Yeah.
And it's literally happening right in front of his face. And it's like the willful blindness of white men, especially, who just like the way their life is just like not great.
Yeah. That's because you've been validated by society.
Yeah.
Things are going well for you.
Yeah.
So good for you, buddy.
La-ti-da. I know. Whenever people like say that they don't get involved in politics, I'm like, it must be really nice to have none of this impact you at all.
Right.
But also it must be really lonely to be so deeply unempathetic that you do not give a shit. And like sitting here a year after them, and we're a month into the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
And taxes are not lower, groceries are not less expensive, all the bullshit he told you was going to happen didn't happen, and Project 25 is happening.
Yep.
So
full force.
Listening to these guys talk about it, I'm just like, are you dumb?
You.
Like, I don't know.
Also, like, Sarah, you literally broke into hives.
Oh, yeah.
Both times he got engaged to you. Like, listen to your body, girl.
Your body
telling
is to
you
cry
something.
for help. Yeah. Your body is not happy.
Your body is like, this is not the right decision.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't see them. I don't see them even making it to the altar, actually.
I feel like she's going to get the ick from him on vacation, because his like intense cheesy smile, I think is going to like
gross.
creep her out. Like, I don't think she's going to like that anymore.
I think he's very unattractive.
I think all of these men look like face on a face. Like, they just look like they're wearing someone else's face. And I'm deeply unsettled by it. Maybe it's like a deadness behind the eyes for so many of them. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I did not know I hated all these guys this much until we got on here, but alas.
Okay. So who do we go to next? Daniel and Taylor, or Dave and Lauren / Molly, or Devin and Virginia / Brittany?
We didn't see Devin and Virginia much, so I don't have like a ton to say other
I
than
do need to talk about the stuff with Brittany, though.
Yes. Yeah.
Because conservatism.
Yes.
Back again. This was tough to watch.
I think it's also like tough for us to comment on.
Right, because we're not bisexual.
We're not bisexual. Brittany basically admitted that she feels comfortable being physically intimate with women, but does not envision herself in a relationship with a woman, and basically was in a relationship with someone, and that woman was...
Well, no, she doesn't envision marrying
a woman. Yeah.
Because she was in relationships with women. She said like 2 or 3.
Two
right?
or three. And every time it would get like to the point where we should talk about getting married, she would kind of back out because she wanted the more like traditional life. And I can't fault people for that. I think there's such a heavy emphasis in American culture on like... That's
what our culture prizes and rewards, is heterosexual relationships and marriage.
And like things are easier If,
Right.
if you want to start a family, you don't have to, in an ideal situation, obviously, you don't have to outsource any part of that to anyone else. There's no tough discussions of, there's more set in some relationships, more set gender roles, and you don't have to have as many conversations about that. So it probably does seem easier if you're like battling
Right.
through these feelings. But I just felt bad for her, that I could tell there's like so much shame about her own sexuality.
Exactly. Like there's internalized something.
Like it was like her deepest, darkest secret that she was sharing and was
Right.
embarrassed
Even the way
to
that
share.
she brought it up,
Yeah.
like it was just, again, it's like, I don't know her experience, so I'm not going to speak on that. But as a viewer, it felt really heavy to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
And I really, and it was really hard to watch Devin then basically insinuate that she might be more promiscuous / non-monogamous because of her sexuality, which from what I understand, that's a common misconception around
100%.
for bisexual people, which does not make any sense to me. Like,
I don't know why it would change your positions on monogamy at all.
it's like they're not the same thing. Plus, it's like just because you're maybe attracted to a larger pool of people in the world doesn't mean that you're going to be less faithful to your partner. Like
Right.
that's wild.
It's also like, Devin, you're a man. You are more likely to cheat.
Yes.
You're only attracted to one gender, but that, like, your pool of people that you're willing to cheat with is probably broader than Brittany's.
No, I mean, but he was clearly so uncomfortable with the fact that she had been with women.
Yep.
Like, I think that was part of it too. And it was just, it is a lot to hear that information, I guess. Like, well, I don't know. Is it a lot?
I don't think so.
I don't really know. I don't know. But this wasn't the only couple where like LGBTQ issues came up.
Sarah and Alex.
Yeah. Who had the gay sister?
So
Was it Sarah?
Sarah's sister is gay, and Alex is very religious. And so Sarah
Ben,
asked
Ben. We're
Ben.
talking
Oh my
Ben.
God,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
okay.
sorry,
It's
guys.
okay. It's okay. They all look the
They
same.
all look the same.
They all
Oh
have
my
these
God.
like 1-2 syllable
And their
basic
names are Ben
white
and
male
Alex.
names. Yeah.
Ben.
Yes.
Ben is very religious. And so Sarah asked him, like, would you accept my sister? And it wasn't
No,
an
it wasn't a
immediate
straight
yes.
ahead yes.
It wasn't an overwhelming, what do you mean? Of course. There was like hesitation there that she should have read more into.
Yeah, that alone
Yeah.
is like major red flag. But it's like clearly that's like kind of an accepted narrative there where I'm just like, no wonder people are so upset about trans rights.
Yeah.
Because they cannot even accept their romantic partner having a gay sibling.
I
Like-
wouldn't even thought to ask that question.
Yeah.
And
It's just,
it's
no,
not like-
I would have not even thought for a second that it would not be okay with my partner.
Even hearing that someone went to church every Sunday, I still would not automatically be like, oh,
Yeah.
my sister's gay. Is that going to be a deal breaker for you? It's like, I still would be like, we're in the year 2025. Like,
It's also like it's your sister. Like there's so many things that are confusing about that it's just like if that's like a legitimate question that's being asked, like I do not ever want to live in Minneapolis.
And I don't know why I thought it was like a liberal city. I don't know what's going on.
It is. Well, there are definitely pockets of Minneapolis that are very liberal. I don't even know. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. It is. It's just an odd season. Like I think it just feels. It feels odd. Like
It does feel odd.
I was talking to my friend Lauren about like this is a diversion, but like the clothes on this season, and I feel like
Right.
this is gonna be mean, but whatever. I've been mean this whole episode.
There's not much to be nice about.
Trying, but
Yeah.
like how Gen Z is always making fun of millennials for their like very chuggy clothing. And I'm kind
Right.
of like, I don't know what they're talking about. Everyone I hang out with is so stylish. Like
Right.
not that I'm like any great dresser on this pod, but whatever. But I just was like, what are they talking about that people are still wearing like peplum tops and chunky jewelry? And then I see this season, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what they mean by millennial cringe. Like it's still very alive and well on this in this area.
Right. And Yeah, I hadn't even like really paid much attention to it, but you're right. It's definitely happening.
It's the boys too. It's like the skinny jeans into the Chelsea boot. I'm just like,
Right. Okay, so there's not much more to say about Ben and Sarah. I
no.
do love that Sarah is like an Xbox professional.
Yeah. And of course, like Ben is like, oh, turn me on. It's like,
Oh my god. Ben
can,
is
can women have an interest without it being sexy to you? Like, just,
I know. Can you just be like happy for them?
yeah.
Okay, Daniel and Taylor. Okay, wait.
Oh, we
no.
got to finish with,
Devin and Virginia and Brittany. Okay, so I'm just glad that Brittany and Devin like mutually kind of broke up
yeah.
because that would have been even harder to watch in some ways. Like, I really liked Brittany
Yeah.
in all the scenes that I saw her in. I thought she was great. I didn't think she was right for Devin. It
So-
turns out that's really true.
I guess she got engaged
Wait, what?
to a guy named Mo.
Oh, I was just looking through the cast photos on their thing and I saw him. Oh, wow. Okay.
Apparently, he was like terrible to her like immediately after. So they broke up. So it was like good to skip out on that trauma, but she had a
Right.
full relationship and got engaged to someone else.
Like, was he terrible to her like right after the reveal?
I think so.
And
they like
so they
decided
like
not
didn't
to go
even
to
make
Mexico.
it to
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we don't always have to see that, especially because all these other couples broke up too.
Yeah. They're like all in a shit show anyway.
Right. Virginia is my favorite woman.
Oh,
On
I
you
don't
don't
re-
feel this.
her voice is like insecure Kamala Harris.
Oh my god.
Like she's like, do you like how I look?
Their reveal was unexpectedly hard to watch.
She could not look at him.
She couldn't look at him. She was so freaking shy. And she did say she was shy. And she did say she hadn't kissed a man in like several years or something.
Both of those things came across. Like,
Yes, like she was not ready to be physical in that way with him.
I think she wants to be wifey really, really bad. And
Yeah.
wants to take up the traditional roles. And that's fine, whatever. That's totally fine. Like, do whatever you want to do. But just something about that
Did
coupled
she say
with.
that though? Maybe I missed this.
Yeah, it felt very like, I'm going to be like wifey and take care of everything.
Oh.
Unless
Like
I'm
in
just
the
putting that
pod
on her.
she was saying that?
Yeah, I don't remember her saying. Now I don't remember much about the pods, but
now
I remember.
don't. It'll be interesting to see because I actually saw a clip that Love Is Blind's Instagram put up for this next drop of episodes, like when they're and it's one of her and Devin talking, and it's around finances.
Mm-hmm.
And like how they would set up their accounts. And she's like, yeah, I think it would make sense for us to have a shared account, but also have our own separate accounts. And she's like, and I also think we should have a prenup. And like,
Oh,
Devin
that's
gets
good.
all upset about it. So like that to
Maybe
me
I
points to,
misjudged
like,
her.
maybe she's more of an independent woman than we think,
You know
or
what
or
the
that's I don't know. She came across that way to me, but maybe I'm missing something.
You know what the comment was she was like describing her outfit to him, and he was like, I like that you always wear heels. And she was like, oh yeah, I would never leave the house not done up, and I would never leave the house not in heels. And that to me was kind of like
right.
a little bit, and again, I'm being judgmental and like maybe I shouldn't be, like people can do whatever they want, but that to me was a little bit of like. And then coupled with how shy she was at the reveal, I was a little bit worried that this is going to turn into like, and I'm glad to hear about that clip. I hadn't seen that. It's going to turn into like, I'll do whatever to make you happy.
Right.
Is what I'm worried about.
I don't think that's going to happen
Good.
based on this clip, and also because I feel like I get old soul energy from Virginia. And she is older than Devin.
Yep.
Like by 5 years or something. Like they're the ones who went to the same high school, right?
Yeah. Which is cute.
Which is very cute. And there is a certain dynamic when a guy is 5 years younger than a woman in your 30s and 20s. Like that's a big thing, like maturity wise.
Yeah.
So I just expect that we're gonna see that play out. And I can't get Devin's comments to Brittany out of my head after
No.
she told him about her sexuality. Like it just revealed, like, I like Devin. I liked Devin a lot up until that point.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I was like, oh, I've got a lot of question marks now. And I think it really, it's not that I don't think he has the capacity to actually understand like why what he did and said was harmful in that moment. Because I do think he has the capacity to understand that. I think he hasn't maybe lived enough life to like know that yet. And like, so I think he could get there. I'm just wondering if he's going to be there soon enough for Virginia, maturity wise.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Like and how much that actually gets called out, or because he does seem kind of serious, if that, like with what we've seen on Love Island, gets confused with maturity. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for them.
It will be. It was definitely a very subdued reveal, though.
It was weird. Like,
it was weird. The energy was cringe.
It was like really like two teenagers got put in closet for 7 minutes in heaven, and they don't know how to like talk to each other. And
Well, you know what's so interesting too is like I was thinking about this because they pack a lot of the reveals into like 1 or 2 episodes.
Except for Joey and Monica, who have been like gone for like 2 weeks now.
Also, like, is it just me, or did we literally not know anything about Joey and Monica? And then they were getting engaged
so fast.
Yeah, I still know nothing about their connection. All I know is that like Joey has a crazy accent.
Yeah.
That's like all I know.
And Monica couldn't stop laughing when she saw him.
Right. Like they were 2 children in a candy store.
They were so giddy. I think that they're like the surefire couple who are going to make it and be fine. And so we don't like need to know as much about them.
Yeah, it was just like, it felt like there was literally no development of their story. And all of a sudden we're like watching them get engaged. But anyway, so then all the other ones are at the end of the season. So you see a bunch in a row. And I'm like, all of these are awkward in some sense.
Yep.
Which is so weird because these people actually know each other very well. And then I was like, that's what it is. They've done all this like very deep connecting. And now it's like time for small talk.
Yeah.
After you've like gotten engaged.
Like, I like your shoes. It's so
like
bizarre.
It's a very awkward thing. And so like to some extent, every one of these is going to have a dose of that weird awkwardness. And even if it's like an immediate connection, everything's good.
Yeah.
So then the ones where like there's even more weirdness alongside that, they're like so weird.
You know what it reminds me of is like when you have a one night stand with somebody that you like met drunk.
Yeah.
And you've like been like pillow talking in the dark. You've been, you know, whatever else people do.
Yeah.
And then you wake up in the morning and it's like, I got to get my clothes on. This is so awkward.
I got to get the fuck out.
And it's like, it shouldn't be awkward. We know so much about each other.
Right.
We've been all over each other. And now in the light of day, it's like, I got it.
Right. That's such a good analogy. Like it really is just like, it's just made for awkwardness.
Yeah.
And I think that's why like I don't put so much into this reveal. I think where we really find out more is like on the honeymoons, and then of course when they live together.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that with Devin and Virginia, because I think a lot will be revealed for them.
I think like no one will ever be Lauren and Cameron, where like they were true soulmates. So when they saw each other for the first time, it was like, and she said to him, "You're like a prince," and he's like, "You're the most beautiful person I've ever seen." And they're
I just got like shivers. Like I literally I'm so obsessed with them. I want to go back and watch that season.
I know. It'll never happen again.
It'll never happen again because this show just has there's too much awareness of where we are now.
Yeah.
If we're getting casted for this show.
100%. And also, I don't like that they have an increased music budget. I want my literal songs back.
I know. I'm like, Wrecking Ball, Miley Cyrus, like
Birds of a Feather?
They had Birds of a Feather?
They had Birds of a Feather. I want We're Breaking Up, and I want the song to go, I'm done. I'm out of here. I don't want it like a real song.
No, but you know what? They do use a little of them, because there was one that was like, here we are again. Left me to pick up the pieces. Like, I've heard that one on like Selling Sunset or something.
Selling Sunset's even worse because it's like, You know what we do? We just walk down the street and we close deals. And it's like walking down the street like a badass bitch. Like, it's just like so good. I don't want them to have big music.
I know. It's like you got to keep some of that kitsch in there. Like,
100%.
I'm not interested in hearing like pop hits on Love is Blind.
I've heard Birds of a Feather 150,000 times this year. Great song. It does not belong in Love is Blind.
No, not at all. Okay, let's talk about Dave.
We've danced around it enough.
What a piece of shit.
I hate this man. What else is new?
We all know a Dave.
We all know.
Or we all know his type. He's a fucking bro. He gets way too drunk on the weekends. He thinks he's hot shit, and he sucks.
And he has no clue that everyone hates him.
No clue.
And he's like, I'm just so, my main concern this season is my sister doesn't think anyone will be good enough for me. And these women have to feel actually bad that his sister might not think they're good enough for him.
I know.
That's not a real problem.
I was like, wait, did I miss something? Like, is he estranged from his sister? Like, is something going on? And it's like, oh no.
She's just obsessed with him.
That's going to be interesting. This is also the man who's opening packages. I'm a medical, like I sell like, what is it? Medical.
It's like
beauty?
medical, like it's like cosmetic medical devices.
Yeah. Like medical aesthetics, I think was I don't know what he said, but it was basically, he's like, I see a lot of Botox, lip filler, and other surgical procedures. And so that's what I like.
I'm like used to beauty.
That's what I'm used to.
That's what I'm used to.
Like, he absolutely has lip filler himself, by the way.
It's also like, Dave, you have rosacea really bad. You can't fix that. So do I. But don't be like, oh, I'm used to like the utmost standard of beauty. It's like, you have a very curable skin condition. Just like figure it the fuck out before you get on TV. If you're going to be a
dick. Is that what was going on? I was like, maybe he's an alcoholic.
Oh, maybe. But that's what happens to me when I drink and I have rosacea. So.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Yeah.
He also like, I don't remember how old he is, but all these people are like 30-ish.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like he's 45. Yeah, like he looks a lot older than that. He's such a fucking bro.
Oh, so what's wrong with you?
Oh my God.
Oh, you're 30. You're getting kind of washed.
Yeah, like the amount of, when a man is going, like, you know, like how when people flirt, they like kind of poke fun at each other?
Yeah.
He was just being fucking mean.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a couple dates in with Lauren, and then he's like talking about her age like that. That's so fucked up.
It's also like, I don't know if she came across this way to you, but Lauren came across to me as deeply insecure.
Yes.
And I think he read that.
Mm-hmm.
And like very stereotypically, if you're 31 years old and you're not married yet or not even close,
right,
it's a very easy thing to pick on and make someone feel even more insecure. And so that felt manipulative too, where it was just like,
yes,
oh, better lock it down with me because you're old and you're running out of time and blah, blah, blah.
The thing that I am still wondering is like Lauren seems like a pretty decent person.
Yeah.
You know, she seems nice. She seems like she has a good head on her shoulders. She's like in education. She like made some astute comments about how like we don't pay our teachers living wages. We don't care about things, you know, like she's not an idiot. And I'm just like, what do you see in Dave? Like, what conversation did you two have that like made you feel like he was your person? Because I'm not seeing it. I didn't hear him say anything of substance ever
to anyone. And like the whole situation with Molly was also like,
right.
He heard that she never had a boyfriend before and was like kind of playing on that too. And like just messing with these women's heads and emotions. And I didn't see what they saw in him at all other than.
No. It was like a game.
100%. Like neither of them wanted to lose. And he was like very happy to like play it out.
Right.
Lauren kind of like lost. So Molly, I don't think Molly knew that Lauren was talking to Dave when she came in and was talking about their dates and stuff.
No, she didn't. And she said that later, that she was like, had I known, I would
never
not have said anything. Yeah.
And Lauren was so insecure about her connection with Dave that she took it personally that Molly was like doing this on purpose and Molly was doing something vicious and she was like avoiding her. Then Lauren says like, he can't get away with doing this to us.
Yeah.
But then as soon as him and Molly broke up, she didn't push the issue with Dave at all.
No.
So she didn't like really care.
No.
that he had like fucked with her or with Molly at all.
No.
She just cared about ending up with Dave. And so I'm kind of like, I don't actually think you're a very nice person. I think you work in education and everyone thinks you're such a sweetie pie. And I don't actually know if you are that.
Yeah, that's fair. There were points where she was like melting down in the women's quarters where I was like, you're kind of a buzzkill. Like
100%.
You're definitely just like taking yourself a little too seriously in some ways. Like, yeah, it's pretty obnoxious the way Molly's talking. Like Meg and Molly were like totally obnoxious in the quarters.
Yeah. And that's
like I would have been shit talking them too.
For sure. I'm saying this stuff as if I wouldn't get in trouble every single week. Like as if I wouldn't be the villain on the show where they'd be like, oh, Mary's like openly talking shit. Obviously.
I mean, it's just like she was annoying. Like she annoyed me and I was kind of like, whatever. But I was also like, no one deserves to be treated like shit by someone like Dave. And that's 100% what's going to happen here. I mean, they've hinted at it a little bit. One thing I really noticed with their reveal was like how much they talked about how they looked, how each other looked.
Yeah.
Like that was the topic of conversation was their looks, which obviously everyone mentions that, oh, you're beautiful, you're handsome, whatever. But it was like then expanded on the conversation in that engagement in a way that I'm like, Dave is going to be an asshole about this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she has any lip filler.
No, she's very naturally pretty.
Yeah.
Which normally would be like a bonus for a lot of people. But
right,
for Dave,
yeah.
I don't.
Like, whoa, you did.
But like, I don't think it is for Dave. And like, everyone has their preferences, obviously. But to have something that's such a superficial preference on a show called Love is Blind. And it's almost like... Right. Because he kept saying, I used to be so vapid, I'm trying to fix that, he would get like a pat on the back, whereas everyone's like, wow, he really wants to change. It's like, no, he doesn't. He wants someone to like him in spite of him being vapid.
Right. No, I know he's going to be awful to her.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see more of Lauren too, to see like, is she really like the wet blanket bummer that we've seen? Is she really kind of just like not that cool, or will we like her more? Like, will she stand up for herself? Like, yeah. Unfortunately, I see him being mean to her and her kind of taking it because she's already done that several times.
I'm really worried about that. Like that's like Netflix. That's like not good TV. I don't want to see.
No,
I don't want to see a woman be like tortured mentally.
No.
So if we could skip that would be great.
Right. Like. And I hope that at some point, if that is what happens, like she is able to kind of see what it is. Because, I mean, another example where we saw that was Shake and Deepti.
Yeah.
And she really had a redemption story, you know, with that. So, like, maybe we could have that happen here, too. I don't know. I actually have one more thing I need to say about Madison.
Okay.
And that whole situation, quadrangle, whatever it was. I do think it's kind of bullshit to call someone out for dating two people at the same time in the
on this show.
Yeah. Like literally, Madison, when you have been doing the same thing.
I
with
did
Alex
think about that
and Mason.
too. I was like
you made a decision more quickly than Mason did, but to sit here and tell him he was bad for dating two people when you were doing the same thing is actually out of control.
But isn't that so and this kind of honestly brings us perfectly to talk about The Bachelor, because isn't this like the weirdest trope fight that everyone gets into, where it's like signs up for a non-monogamous show, gets mad when people are non-monogamous. It's like,
yeah.
What?
And then like literally you're being non-monogamous and then you're hating on other people who are doing
so weird.
No, okay, but we have to we have to talk about Taylor and Daniel.
Oh my God, I forgot about them. Yeah, we do.
Okay, so I need to know from you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Taylor is actually worried about this Instagram follow, or is she looking for a way out?
I think it's both.
Okay.
Which is obviously a cop-out, but I think women's intuition is crazy.
It is.
And I think people be like, there's no way she remembered that photo. I 100% would remember something like that. He's weird. And I think
He's
it weirded her
weird.
out. I wrote in my notes, Christmas was like the 20th cast member this season.
Yeah.
Christmas came up so much.
It came up so much, which is also like, basic. When it's your whole personality, which is like what's going on here.
And Taylor, him having the same stocking as you is not that impressive. That's a Target stocking they sell every single year.
Right.
They always have them. They always have everybody's letter.
Right.
You live in a big box city. It's
right.
really not that crazy that you guys both had the same stocking.
Not crazy.
So like hunting for signs like this, it was just like kind of.
Well, and the Taco Bell thing, I was like, to be fair, like you told him that you had a Taco Bell tattoo, and then he was like, I love Taco Bell too. It wasn't like did he bring it up before she brought up Taco Bell? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I do remember him bringing up stuff that like they had in common. And I could imagine like doubting our connection if someone saw you before, because it does feel like a weird violation of the entire concept of the show, because it's like we're not supposed to know what each other looks like. She's obviously very pretty. Right. And he was very one-track minded about her. And so it's kind of like.
Yeah, like he was not interested in anyone else. Like we didn't see him date anyone else.
And even like if he didn't come in specifically for her, he went tunnel vision on her after being there. And so I think for her and how I would feel is I wouldn't be able to separate how I felt about the unease I felt about that from everything else. Like I too would be like, I don't know what's actually real with this. I don't know. I'm weirded out by him, so I can't separate it from that.
No, I mean, I guess I had like seen inklings. Like I knew someone on the season had this like social media thing had happened. And then it became clear that it was them because they were talking about, they had that whole conversation in the pods about Instagram handles. And I was like, okay, this is a couple. And then they like, when they get into it, I was like, okay, it's like not as bad as I thought it was. But also, yeah, he gives me a weird vibe. And like things are just a little bit too artificial, like between them. Like it looks like they're gonna break up.
I don't think they'll bounce back from it. I think it's kind of like, what's the point?
No. It does seem like they will see each other at the bar night though. Yeah. And Taylor's gonna be upset and it'll be what it is. But the other thing about Dave is that like we see him potentially flirting with Molly at the bar thing,
which like surprise
right.
I'm so shocked.
Yeah What do you think about Taylor? I think she's just kind of like a meh.
They're all duds. Like that's like the thing, and they seem perfectly nice,
right?
But I don't know. I'm not interested in people being like overly nice and sweetie pie to it's also like, it is also tough. Like watching 6 hours in a day can just make anybody feel like they're losing their mind. I
know. You watched it all in one day, which is crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. I almost did that, but I almost wish I do hope that we see what goes on with like Madison and Mason and Alex and whatever. Like, yeah, I'm curious to see all of that drama because I think those people are maybe the most interesting. Yeah. In some ways. Oh, that's such a disappointment about Alex, though. Gross.
Yeah. So who do you think's going to get married?
I think Devin and Virginia have a chance.
I think they'll get married probably. Joey and Monica.
Joey and Monica will probably get married.
I don't think anyone else will get married. Who's even left? Oh, Sarah and Ben.
Yeah, this is another one where it's like, I wonder how many of them will even make it to the altar.
I don't know.
Like, the past few seasons, it's been like 2 to 3 couples will even make it all the way to the end, which they're clearly allowing. So, interesting.
I don't know.
We shall see. Okay, so moving on. We'll cover the rest of this in our next episode, which will be next Wednesday. So it'll be a little bit before the next batch.
Next drop. Oh my God.
Okay, Bachelor. Just like it's the Carolina show. Like it just is. It's the Carolina show.
It's the Carolina show.
Like I think he really likes her.
He really likes her. I think we're seeing that Grant really likes to make somebody feel better, and Carolina just knows it. And she has him wrapped
gives
around her
that.
finger. Like,
Literally.
no one, I think the only thing that could get in the way is that Grant really likes Juliana. And so
Yeah.
her bringing that to him the way that she did
Yes.
was the only way to like make it him actually hear it and actually question Carolina.
Right. Did you feel like Juliana like maybe exaggerated a little bit? Like, I'm not here to defend Carolina,
Yeah.
but like when she was like Carolina like said she didn't have any fun on her date and like
Yeah.
didn't like you and stuff. I was like, that's not what she said. Like, I don't think
she
she
did
said
the classic like she did this classic thing where it's like the season is moving so fast.
right.
We're at week 4 and there's like 7 girls left
Right.
already.
It's
going
crazy.
lightning speed. I think she did the classic thing that everyone does where, and I am going to defend Carolina a little bit, like
Yeah.
it makes sense to not be sure about The Bachelor. Again,
Yes.
like you cannot let the producers trick you into talking about this on camera because someone pointed out, this is going to be a long tangent, I'm sorry. Someone pointed out on TikTok that conversation where the girls are sitting in the circle
Right.
talking about wanting the one-on-one and where Carolina says, yeah, I just feel like I haven't had enough time with him.
Right.
Which, like, read the room, but someone
Right.
pointed out that it seems like, and they've heard about them doing this, that sometimes the producers will sit in the circle with the girls and just be off camera and ask them, like, how do you feel about this? How would you want the one-on-one
Really?
date? And so someone was like, the way Carolina phrased her answer, it sounded like a producer directly asked her, like, hey, Carolina, would you like more time with Grant?
Yeah.
And so it kind of pulled this answer out of her that like is not, again, very socially aware. She commented on her post and was like, oh my God, talk about social awareness. This was such a nice take, whatever.
right.
And maybe we shouldn't have said, do we hate her in the poll, but whatever, people are voting on it. And
Oh my God. Okay. I did that. I raised my hand. And you know what? It's a fucking poll
It's a
on
poll.
Instagram.
yeah,
Like, it's okay. Okay.
it's a poll.
This is where I draw the line. Like, come on, everyone. Don't be so precious. It's okay.
I know. No, I know.
What I should have said, like, love her, not a fan.
Not a
That's what
fan.
I should have said.
But,
not
like,
a fan.
That's what people were, whatever.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. People's whatever.
Yeah. People
Anyway.
get a life. Okay.
Anyway, she doesn't have a very like good grasp on what other people need to hear from you to not want to not be upset with you. Like,
Right.
And it's
No.
such a tender balance here, like trying to talk honestly about how you feel, but also not piss the other girls off.
Right.
And she doesn't do it well at all. Like, and
No.
it's hard to watch, but like it seems like that conversation happened in front of producers. I was
Yeah,
like,
I notice that shit happening all the time.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Carolina, you are still sitting in a group of women who are all dating Grant.
yeah.
Use some common sense
Yeah.
and don't say shit that's gonna make everyone upset.
Yeah.
Like, just keep it to yourself.
Just-
Like, you don't have to be super honest here.
And all you literally could have said is like, you know, it never feels like enough time. I like him so much.
Right. Right. Like, it never feels like enough time. I like him so much. And
That's it.
Actually, yeah, full stop. That's all
Not-
she needed to say.
Not, well, I know I had a one-on-one, but it really didn't feel like that much time. It's like, it was enough time. You're
Well,
you're
and
fine.
also, okay, so go look at our Instagram post about Carolina because Mary just referenced it, but she comments, like, I tagged her in it because I just tag people when you
Yeah.
talk about them, good or bad, whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, thanks for the tag, so nice. She's like this, like, intense sarcasm. in
Yeah.
her 2 comments on the post to be like, I hate you, basically.
It's
And we're
also like-
the feelings mutual, Carolina.
It's also, talk about punching down, babe. We literally had 20 likes on that post.
Like, seriously, but you get this vibe from her. Like,
Yeah.
she is she's always like seeing the short end of the stick. She's
Yeah.
a glass is half empty type of girl.
Yes. And like, she does have a point, but it just gets so lost where it's
She
like,
has a point. Yeah.
she has a point. It is crazy. The concept of the
Yeah.
show is crazy, but you signed on to be on the show.
Right.
So is it crazy that Juliana's going and being like, she was blessed with such an amazing time with you and she took it for granted. Yes, that's crazy. And to go back to your original point, I do think Juliana took Carolina saying, I feel like I don't really know him that well. Yeah. I don't know his character yet, as she left that date with you and she was questioning your character.
Right.
And it's like such a classic mix-up that they always have on these shows.
Totally. Like, okay, also, I just have to say this. Juliana, and this is like a deep cut, so you'll know this, Mary, because you watched the show, and some of our listeners will know this, but from the show Family Karma, Juliana looks like Bali.
Yes.
The nose ring, the shape of the face. She's like a younger version of Bali.
Yes.
Who's beautiful.
I've been like looking for it this whole time.
It is her. They are the same person.
Even the way she talks a little bit.
They have like a same vibe. And honestly, it's made me like Juliana
100%. Oh my God, I miss Bali. I like totally.
Yes. Like, and Juliana is like, I like her. I think she's growing
I like
on
her
me.
too. I think she
not that I never did not like her, I guess.
No. The language about Grant was like a little bit culty, but that's the way these seasons go, where we end up in the cult of the Bachelor.
Yes.
But like, I do appreciate the way that she talked about it too, and after didn't like hide behind it. She was like, yeah, it was me. And like,
right.
I pull you aside for a chat? And Carolina was like not willing to have the conversation at all.
Yeah, no. Like Carolina is someone who immediately puts walls up and goes on the defensive and tries to make you look like shit and tries to make the whole situation, tries to make everything else look wrong so that she doesn't have to look wrong.
Yeah.
And like, it's just exhausting. And like, if Grant is really looking for like a real partner, like who's gonna kind of be there for him 50-50, which takes me to his date with Dina, which is a total surprise to me.
Yeah.
Carolina's not that girl for you. Like, she lacks an emotional maturity that I think Grant really needs.
I totally agree. Because even like speaking of Dina, we see Dina stand up for her and be like, I don't want anyone to be left out. I don't want anyone to feel backed into a corner. That was so classic. Someone with a lot of siblings just feeling like someone like you have to defend for somebody who's like getting like maybe ganged up on.
Right.
And next week, Carolina turns on Dina.
Yes. And Dina turns on Carolina. She's like, girl, this is bullshit.
They are fighting on TikTok still.
Oh, really?
Still.
On TikTok? Mm-hmm. There's like public fighting. I kind of love that.
It's funny because Gen Z basically bullied Dina into doing a middle part instead of a side part.
Oh.
She looks like a totally different person. She looks great.
Wait,
I did not recognize her in the first video. So I just see a video that's like, oh, when you stick your neck out for the one person, you're the one person to stick your neck out for somebody and then you get burned the next week. And I was like, oh, this is random drama. I don't know why I'm getting pulled into this with no context. And then I realized it was Dina.
Wait, okay, she's wearing a headband.
Let me see if I can find her TikTok for you.
Let's talk about like, she is the most plastic surgeried of them all, though.
It's great work, though. She looks really, she is really pretty.
Okay,
this is what she looks like now.
Wait, I can't see that. Move it over a little. Oh, yeah, she looks so different. Also, just like complete plastic. I'm sorry. It's just too much for me. Yeah, wow. She looks so different. She also has a filter on.
I think she dissolved some of the filler.
I don't love Dina still. Like, I don't know. I like her more than Carolina.
Yeah.
I feel like her whole boss bitch vibe is like, I think what was most revealing to me about that date was that like Grant is looking to be a caretaker, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be the only person taking care of things in his household, which is fair. And also, like, Grant, not sure you can have it both ways. Like, you can't be the man of the household and then, I don't know. Like, this is this confusing thing with gender roles. Like, in a modern age and like the tension between wanting more modern gender roles and wanting to stick to some of these things that make us feel manly or womanly.
Yeah.
So I'm a little questioning that. And it was almost surprising to me to hear that Grant wanted to have this like 50-50 exchange as much as he did. I think he likes that she's so like professionally accomplished.
Yeah, I think that that's something that's like he said he hasn't dated somebody like that before that
Right.
has like really handled it on their own. Where I feel for her is when she says, I can be a bit of an ice queen. People have told me that my
Yes.
whole life.
Yeah.
That felt like something that's coming from her parents. And
Oh, really?
like it kind of feels like something that's I think I feel bad for her because she has 10 siblings. Like that sounds like too many people in a house. And like
yeah, she talked about it like it was traumatic, just the number of people she was around all
it
the time.
sounds bad. And like
Mhm.
and then to get the feedback that you're like an ice queen, like I kind of understand it because it's like you must be overstimulated all the time. So you
Right.
have to detach a little bit. Like
Yeah.
that's like I've heard that my whole life. To me always signals this came from my parents. And
Yeah.
so
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
and to be told you're an ice queen by your parents must suck. Like
Yeah.
that stuff sticks. Like so I just
Yeah.
feel that's where I felt for her where I was kind of like it is a vulnerability to admit that you're a bit of an ice queen.
Right.
Ironically enough.
I want Dina to go on Paradise.
100%. She'll be perfect on Paradise.
I actually am just so happy that I'm rarely like I don't think I have feelings about this either way usually for people, but like I'm excited for her to become an influencer.
Oh, yeah. It'll be so chill for her. Like
Yeah, I think like it'll really allow her to let go of some of the control that she self-professed in the state as well. Like, I'm do, I'm this, that, and like I'm always like on it. Like she knows that about herself.
Yeah.
But like if she can let go of some of her professional responsibilities that are maybe keeping her in like almost like a chokehold,
yeah.
like and like sell a ad on Instagram every once in a while.
I'm happy for you.
And like do press tours and be on Bachelor in Paradise, like maybe like she can sort of really blossom into like whoever it is that she's like meant to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's someone cool in there who's just like
Not able to come out yet.
not able to come out all the way yet. Like she's just like she's wound so tightly.
I
You know what I
know.
mean?
I know.
I do appreciate I appreciated her solidarity with Carolina because I felt like she did need a fucking friend.
I never like even as wrong as you can be, I
Right.
never like when one person is being like ganged up on. Like I think
Right.
one
I
person
never
saying
like
it is enough. Like I don't think you need to pile on after where everyone needs their moment. Like
Right.
even the stuff with Rose, I was a little bit like
Yeah.
I
I was like, Rose, why did you say that to her?
right.
Like that in and of itself was kind of a bitch move.
100%. Like I told you that in secret. It's like, Rose, your secret was about her. Like
Yeah, it was like a dig at Carolina. Like that's not very nice.
no,
Like,
it's not very nice. And then crying there being like, you did me dirty. You ruined this for me. It's kind of like, I think you maybe ruined it for yourself a little bit. Like,
right. Yeah, like maybe you shouldn't have told that to the person who it's about.
yeah. Confide in literally anybody else. Like,
Yeah, like-
yeah.
There was something a little off with Rose. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm glad she sent herself home.
I think
She needed to leave.
she was expecting Grant to fight back, and Grant was
I
like,
think so too.
Grant was like, okay, like
He was like, okay, I respect that.
you gotta,
Goodbye.
if you gotta go, you gotta go, Rose. And
Also,
Rose was
I
like,
just have to say that like Zoe got so lucky with Carolina coming in because like Zoe is still a tough watch.
Yeah.
But she does not compare to the antics that Carolina is pulling
No.
right now. Like she's just faded into the background. She can kind of be in the same group with all the other girls complaining about the time that she's taking from them.
yeah.
And no one's like upset about it.
No one's like, hey, Zoe, remember when that was you?
except for the bull riding thing. That was okay. Your meme of Alex holding up the card ass up. Oh my god, that was so genius. Alex, I love Alex. I just love her.
I do
She's
too.
So
she,
fun.
She DM'd us like to that meme, just like laughing in all caps, saying like, "Oh my god, stop." And I was like, this unfortunately is the meme format now, where it's like this answer, just like giddily holding it up.
Yeah.
She's so cute. She got a concussion.
Wait, at that date?
When she fell off the bull,
Oh
she was answering a question. She was like, "Oh, sorry, you didn't see me at the date after. I was concussed." Yeah.
Oh my poor girlie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
The head injuries?
They happen
Rachel,
a lot
I'll
on
never
this
forget
show.
Rachel Kirkconnell.
Never forget. Rachel Kirkconnell getting slammed into the ground.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah. But then Zoe like doing the same thing and Alex being like, what the fuck? I was
What?
like, this is Zoe showing her true colors. But
Yep.
again, it's getting total. Like, if Carolina hadn't been there, that would have been the drama.
That would have been the thing.
And like, what is also totally wild to me is that Grant really likes Zoe.
He really does.
He likes her a lot.
He's like enchanted by her. And she's
I don't get
gorgeous,
it.
obviously. I don't get it.
I did sort of get it in this episode because she was talking about her experience
Yes.
growing up.
Yeah.
And that felt very real and very raw. And obviously, and Grant said multiple times how he can really like resonate with what she's gone through. And it, you know, he can like really connect with that on like another level, I think. And so like, I appreciated that. And I think maybe explains some of like why she can be the way that she is.
It
But like,
definitely
she's
explains
also
it.
just
She's awkward.
like, she's not a fun hang, Grant.
She's
She's too serious.
She's so serious, and it did give a lot of context. Like, I was very glad that she shared that because I feel like I do.
Yes.
I'm able to have more empathy for her now. But like, she's still kind of just.
Wait, did we talk about the DMs we exchanged
No.
with her?
She commented on a meme where he said it was a video of us talking about how she had no sense of humor about the date, and she was like, "No sense of humor," and proceeded to not have a sense of humor about what we said.
Like, she basically just proved our point in this very short series of DMs we had with her. Like, whenever a cast person DMs us, like, I congratulate ourselves, mostly you, Mary, on
both
just
of-
being
yeah.
very diplomatic in our answers. Like, if they come for us, we like you always answer in a very like diplomatic way.
There's like, if they're already coming at us, I'm like, there's no
Right.
need to escalate it. I was like, yeah, the edit's making you look not funny. Like,
Yeah.
and what else am I supposed to say to that? I don't know
Yeah,
you.
it was very nice how you said it.
I don't
And
know
then
you
she
as a
was like-
person. And she was just like, well, I don't
and then
think.
she fired back with like all this other stuff, and we're like, okay, we just
Ignore.
left it on red.
Yeah.
Like the Carolina comments, I was like, I cannot respond to this in a nice way, so we're just not gonna respond.
Are we getting meaner, or is the cast getting like more sensitive? I don't know. I don't think.
I mean, I think we've always been this mean. We got to be honest.
We're not.
Listen, Zoe is not funny. Like,
No.
she does not have a sense of humor. That's just the way it is.
It is
like,
what it
no
is.
one is gonna say we're wrong because we're right.
No. And if she is funny, tell me a joke.
Yeah,
I'm open to hearing a joke.
it's just she's skating by a little bit here because of this Carolina drama. I mean, do you think I thought maybe she was gonna get cut this week?
I thought Carolina was going to go too.
I think she will go before
I think she's
hometowns.
Done this week. I think if she blows up in front of Grant,
Right.
at Dina, who he seems to like, at Juliana, who he likes, I think then
Right.
he's smart enough to know that one person is the problem. And we're like rapidly approaching the end of this. So I think he has to figure it out. I'm getting worried that whoever he does get engaged to, it's going to feel really rushed.
Because the season is moving so quickly.
Yeah, it's like with Jen, how we felt like all of a sudden she was like in love with Devin, and where did this come from?
Right.
I feel like the same thing is going to happen with him because there's 6 or 7 girls left, and I don't feel like I know a ton about any of them.
No, like really do not. And like it seems to be the new format for the seasons, which they're the ones who are like studying the ratings and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
they know,
maybe
I
it
guess.
is in their interest to not have an extra episode that just gives us a little more time. But yeah, I mean, so one thing we've been clocking the past few seasons is like especially for Bachelor seasons, is like the women who have baby pictures
Oh,
as
yeah.
their profile pictures. They get far, but like Maria did, and she did not get to the end.
It was the top 4 from hometowns had the baby pictures from last year.
Oh, okay.
So Daisy, Kelsey, Rachel, and Maria all had baby
They
pictures.
did. Okay, so this season, Alex has had a baby picture. Juliana has had a baby picture.
Latia has not.
Latia has not. I think the religious differences may come up.
Did you see that Latia was on a trip this week with all the girls from Zach's season? Yeah, like Charity, Gabby, Katie,
Gabby?
Baby Jess,
Where'd they go?
Montana.
For what? Just to hang?
Just to hang, and Latia was there. So I feel like Latia maybe was going to be the Bachelorette
right.
before the season got canceled. And
Okay.
so she got kind of like welcomed into this group.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I could just look at her all day. She's
She's
so freaking stunning.
a work of art.
It's unreal. And she's just like, yeah, she's very voice of reason.
Yeah.
Too. You know, like she's very, like when she speaks, I listen.
Because she's not doing it in a way that's boring either. Like she's very
Right.
like assertive, and
Yes.
she's like, okay, no, we're not gonna talk that way, and very much like backs up what she's saying. And so
Right.
I also think like if Latia were to approach Grant about issues with Carolina, Grant would listen to that also because he
I
really
definitely
likes
think
her.
so. Yes, I definitely think so. Yeah. I mean, he really likes a lot of these women.
Yeah, Grant's a flirt. He loves to kiss. Oh wait, we have to talk about Serafina.
Okay.
That was the funniest thing that I think has happened on a season in a long time is Grant tries to cue up having this serious conversation with her about like, oh, I think you're holding back. Like sometimes when we kiss, I feel like, you're not fully in it. And she goes, oh, no, that's just because my mom is watching.
Which, like, yes, Serafina.
And his response
that would be
was
me.
His response was also perfect. He goes, oh yeah, sometimes it's not that serious. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's not. It's like, yeah, there's an easy explanation for that, and here it is. I really like Serafina.
I think she's a front runner now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
He
like,
really
here
likes
she
her.
is.
And he did not care that her mom was watching. He was immediately grabbing her butt.
Of course he was. She is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
So, I see it. Yeah, so who do we have left? Zoe, Serafina,
Juliana.
I was surprised he sent home Natalie, but
Me too.
yeah. Juliana,
Dina,
Carolina,
Alex.
and Alex. Are there really only 6 women left?
No way. We're 2 weeks away from hometowns?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that's way too quick.
Latia, Alex, Serafina, Juliana.
Oh, maybe I
Carolina.
forgot Latia. No, I don't think I did. Yeah, I think there's 6 women
I think
left.
so too.
Wow. Okay. I mean, because sometimes when there's 6 left, they'll eliminate 2.
Yeah.
So that would be, whoa. It's a whole new world out here.
It really is. Oh my gosh.
But I mean, maybe they're just so aware of like Love is Blind taking over that they're like shifting the schedule accordingly. I don't know.
Yeah, Alex, Carolina, Dina, Juliana, Latia, Serafina, and Zoe. So I guess 7.
Oh, there's 7. Okay.
7.
So yeah, probably 2 women will go home next week.
Yeah. Still feels like crazy soon.
Yeah, it's moving quickly, but that's the name of the game in all of these shows.
Yeah.
Okay, so Love Island UK has closed the book.
Woohoo!
I'm so pissed
I know.
that Casey and Gabby won. I hate Casey.
I
Not
hate
because I love
Casey.
Gabby.
I love Gabby.
I hate Casey.
I do not like Casey.
I'm not a fan of Casey.
I think that Olivia Hawkins cost Grace and Luca the win.
Okay, tell me. I saw some stuff about this, but I don't know the full details.
So a bunch of stuff happens, whatever. But basically at one point, all the old Islanders come back and they're supposed to vote out one of the 3 bottom couples. The couples in the bottom are Catherine and Omar. They get no votes. Sammy and Elma get a bunch of votes. Harriet and Ronnie get a bunch of votes. Olivia Hawkins comes back
Okay, I had to fast forward through this, so tell the whole thing.
has to be the diva.
Of course.
I didn't watch the last episode at all. I was like,
Fuck
I
this.
just kept fast forwarding to see when people would be like,
Yeah, who
no.
wins?
And Olivia Hawkins gets up there. She votes for Harriet and Ronnie to go home. First thing and then she also says, I have a message for Grace. That she heard that Grace had been texting people that she'll do whatever it takes to win.
No.
And she's seen the receipts. She's seen them. She doesn't have them with her, but she's seen the receipts. She's seen them with her own eyes. Turns out that the messages were allegedly, at least some of them, were between her and Messy Mitch.
Oh my
And Mitch, I guess on Snapchat, admitted that he faked them. And Mitch's best friend is Casey.
Okay. These men
Are terrible.
they are the worst. Like, oh God. I mean,
know.
not that I really care who wins Love Island UK.
No.
Like, it doesn't actually matter. But I did believe more in Luca and Grace's connection than Gabby and what's his face.
Like, there was that episode where everyone was asking the questions of the public, and someone put out like, do you think that Gabby is more into Casey than Casey's into her, something like that,
Right.
or like, do you believe Casey's changed something? And the majority of people basically said no, that it felt like Gabby was all in,
Right.
and Casey was not. And Casey gets so defensive, and it's like, that is true, unfortunately. Like, it is coming across that way because it is that way, and I think
It is that way. Did you see Catherine's sister?
No.
I think it was her sister. I mean, it looked exactly like Catherine. So I think I remember seeing her sister from like when Catherine was on the show before. Is that possible? Did
I
Catherine
think
make
she
it that
maybe
far?
came to visit. Yeah.
Okay. So she was like, I think like Casey and Gabby is like a total sham. Like they're totally like she like totally called it out for like
I
not
love
being
it.
real.
I mean, that
But
was
then,
like,
of course, the public votes for them. Like, are you joking me?
I know.
I think Luca had the Sammy thing also like really created issues for him and Grace. And I think that was actually a little bit legit. Like he was apparently just like talking about Sammy the whole time until Grace got there.
I mean, there's a reason that the house still tried to get him and Sammy together. Like there's clearly was something going on and they thought they were doing their friend a favor.
Right.
And like another one of the questions that came up was like, does it seem like Grace is more into Luca than Luca, or Luca's more into Grace than Grace is into Luca? And like people think that's true, and that is the way it comes across. Like he's way more into her than she is into him.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I thought it was the opposite.
You thought Grace was more into Luca than?
I thought Luca was kind of putting on a little bit of a show.
I think they both are. I mean, I think kind of everyone is. Like I don't think
Luca
any of
and
these.
Grace are not going to date on the outside.
I don't think any of these couples will be together in 6 months, like at all.
What Elma and Sammy?
Nah, that's that.
Probably not.
We were texting about this. Elma like totally lost me these last couple of episodes.
Right. Okay. So I had to fast forward because I was so behind and I had to watch so much Love is Blind.
Yeah.
That like I sort of missed the drama. Like, what did she do?
I mean, it was like stupid shit, but it's like almost like because she's on this other show, like The Only Way is Essex, she kind of forgets that like you don't really do reality TV fighting on Love Island where you're like calling names and cursing each other out. Like you don't really do that on this show that much. And I was listening to Ian was getting interviewed. I saw him on TikTok, and he was kind of talking about how when he would watch all the uncut footage, it always felt like Curtis and Ekin-Su were being treated like the uncool kids at school.
Oh,
And like
interesting.
everyone was always kind of picking on them, and like they were just like two nerds who really liked each other and didn't know that everyone was like making fun of them behind their backs.
Oh,
And so Elma
sad.
I know. Elma just continually, and Curtis really annoys me. Like I don't really like him either. I probably would not be very nice to him, but like Elma continuously coming for Ekin-Su and Curtis. It's like enough. Like let it go.
Yeah, because she was so upset at the Ekin-Su kissing Sammy thing still. Like, yeah, let it go.
Let it
Come
go.
on. You gotta let it go.
And she just like is yelling, and she's like, take a day off. Like, who cares? It's just a game. And in that game where they asked the audience questions, she asked something like, do you believe that Ekin-Su and Curtis are a real couple? And they got, like, most people said yes. And she was like, well, I did you a favor. Like, now you know. Now you have the
Right,
reinsurance. And it's
right.
like, that could have turned out so poorly.
Right.
So you kind of like gaslighting them now, being like, I did you a favor, is like kind of fucked up. Like,
That was kind of how all of the questions
100%.
were, though, right? Like, they're like, oh, I was just trying to get it so if it goes in your favor, then you're good. And it's like, no, you're trying to, like, stir
you're
some
trying to
shit.
stir some shit up. Like, I felt that way about like Harriet and Ronnie. Harriet knows in her gut that Ronnie is going to be unfaithful to her as soon as he steps out of the villa.
Like, immediately.
Immediately. And so she's so upset at everybody for doubting their connection and like
Yes.
using the cop out of saying like, you tried once, now you can't have it again. Because she needs reassurance from other people that they believe in her and Ronnie, because she
Right.
herself does not believe in her and Ronnie. And
No,
she shouldn't.
she shouldn't. He's a piece of shit. He's shown his true colors. He's lying to you.
Yeah.
When he says he's done it all for the show. He was so clearly, both of them
They were
so
devastated.
clearly trying to win.
When they got kicked off, they were devastated. It's like, why did you think this would work? Like,
No, I know. It's like people are not like,
you're not Colum and Molly.
no, exactly.
Like, you're
like,
not-
this is not that love story.
You guys are not a heart-wrenching breakup that occurs after 3 years. You broke up like 4 months after the villa and like...
and nobody cares. Everybody hated you to begin with.
Did you hear that what Olivia did and that Harriet called her out for?
Liv?
Liv, yeah.
What'd she do?
She photoshopped a picture of herself on Harriet's body, put her face on Harriet's body. There's like that picture of Ronnie and Harriet when they're like crossing the street. They got papped right after the island. She photoshopped a picture of herself onto Harriet's body holding hands with Ronnie and texted it to Ronnie and said, too soon, LOL?
Oh my God.
For Ronnie.
Wait. When did she do this?
Before,
Post-season?
Like after Ronnie and Harriet broke up the first time, in between their season and this season.
Whoa.
So then when Liv voted Harriet and Ronnie out, she was like, Harriet was bringing up that she had like photoshopped this picture.
Wow, that is...
And Liv didn't deny it.
That's...
So embarrassing.
Liv is...
She's so embarrassing.
She's embarrassing. She really is. I hope she never comes back, but she'll probably be back on one of these things.
Probably.
Okay, so that's that.
That's it.
We do need to talk about Traders very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Just the most recent thing, which is that, okay, so Chriselle got murdered,
Yep.
and then who got banished?
Sierra got banished.
Sierra got banished because everyone's an idiot.
Everyone's an idiot. They got Boston Rob out the week before. They took my man.
They took our man.
They took our
Mary
man.
and I got into a heated three-way text conversation with Deanna about how hot Boston Rob
Cousin Deanna was like, I don't see it. And we were like, are you blind?
Yeah, like, look at these photos. Like, I'm like downloading photos of Rob onto my phone and texting them.
I'm like, he has 4 daughters. Did you see the way he talked to Sierra?
I'm sorry. That's hot.
I'm sorry. Him having 4 daughters is hot. It was so passionate. It was so funny.
No, we were on the same wavelength.
100%.
100%.
And then she was like, what's CT's deal? And I was like, do not get me started.
CT. Oh my God. Okay. So Rob's gone. They get rid of Sierra, but now they have an opportunity to invite a new trader.
Yeah.
And Carolyn doesn't want to.
Well, Carolyn doesn't want to invite Brittany because
Right.
Danielle's like, oh, please let me invite my best friend. It'll be
And
the 3
Carolyn's
of us.
like, what?
Carolyn's like, do you think I'm an idiot? You're out of your mind, Danielle.
Yes, you have it. The Carolyn impression. But it's like, she's right. Like, that's
Danielle
the
thinks
dumbest
Carolyn is
move.
stupid.
Yeah, and it's actually like Carolyn is smarter than Danielle.
100%.
Danielle is so obnoxious.
I know.
Like, if she doesn't get like murdered or banished soon, Or if somehow she makes it to the end, like she cannot win this season.
She does not deserve to win it. She's been so sloppy, and just like other people have been like louder. Like this stupid fucking coffin theory that they had to get rid of Sierra to put to bed. It was like, this is so stupid. Like,
yeah.
And you guys
there
have
are
nothing.
other options, everyone. Sierra had like what I don't know is why Sierra didn't push her Danielle theory more. Like
I think she was just tired.
I think she was just feeling defeated, and it was like such a unanimous vote. It was crazy. Like that was the most unanimous vote that we've seen so
like
far.
The first episode of Summer House, she like is in the car and she's driving out with Paige, and Paige is like, how is Scotland? And Sierra was like, oh my God, it was crazy. Everyone was crying from day 2 straight till the end. Like I was so tired. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like torture.
Oh my God. This season of Summer House looks good. Actually, I think I might actually watch it when Patrick watches it.
It's been pretty fun. Like I texted you earlier that like Sierra had clearly picked up a few things at the Traders Roundtable, because this was Sierra's year. They filmed the reunion from Summer House.
Right.
She has an argument with West on Summer House. They make up after the reunion. They agree to be friends. She goes to Scotland, gets her phone taken away for 3 months. West does 1 million interviews about her while she's in Scotland.
Right.
She gets back 2 weeks later, goes to Summer House.
Yeah, and she's like, fuck this guy. Like, and honestly, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
That little gremlin, how did he get to have sex with Sierra?
No
I don't
idea.
understand.
And he just wants to be like the nice guy who doesn't know what he did wrong. And can we please have this conversation in private? And Sierra just, I mean, this is in the second episode, whatever. They're sitting around the table at dinner. Mm-hmm. She literally dresses him down like he's a traitor. Like she's like, and he's like, we could maybe talk about this. And she goes, oh, do you mean in private? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, everyone's going to find out anyway. Let's just have it out here.
Oh, that is such a traitor's move.
So traitors.
I love it.
It was great.
It
was great.
I love it. If it gives her the confidence she needs to actually be in a relationship with a guy who's going to respect her. Like the previews are showing her and Jesse connecting, which is like not the choice.
He's being really weird to another girl in the house right now, like immediately obsessed with her. And so I just don't want.
Well, yeah. And she's 26. And
it was so classic.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard to watch. Like just the disparity of like, there's multiple 40-year-olds in this house.
Yes.
One of them is pregnant. One of them is like 3 years sober. And then there's a 26-year-old in the house.
And she seems so ditzy and young. Like,
yeah,
she really does.
She's a young 26. And then there's this other girl in the house, Bailey. And I was like, oh, I liked Bailey.
She seems great.
Apparently she was like leaking storylines to her friends, and so she got kicked off the show.
Yes, I knew I liked her. I liked her.
Would so be me. Like, imagine if I was on Summer House and I didn't immediately tell you what was happening every week.
My God. Like, no, we would not be friends anymore. Exactly. Like, come on. That is like your job.
So
Bailey
funny.
Understood the assignment.
So they were like, you have to stop telling people about this stuff. And she just like stopped showing up to the weekends.
Bailey probably realized that like it was going to turn into like white privilege central anyway.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't getting any attention to begin with. So she's like, this is how I'm going to make my mark.
Exactly. Fuck you guys. So fun.
Okay. Well, we have been recording for like almost 2 hours now.
Yeah.
So
Ninja still has to edit to get this to you guys. So thank you. Say thank you, Andrew, everybody.
You're very welcome. It is my pleasure. Sorry that this came out later than we wanted it to, but I was traveling and whatever. So
we got to see the end of Love Island All-Stars this way too. Like it would have been annoying to record Tuesday and then last night the last episode came out. So it just worked out better this way.
It works. And so our next episode will come out on our usual day, Wednesday morning. Mm-hmm. It will cover the next 3 episodes of Love is Blind, so 7 through 9.
Thank God it's only 3.
Right, thank goodness.
That's
and
so
then The Bachelor's next episode, and that's it. We won't have... Oh, and Traders.
Duh.
Of course.
Which is such a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing I want to turn on there's an episode out right now, and I'm so sad I can't watch it.
I know. Did I tell you I'm going to the live event?
You are going?
Yeah.
When is it?
It's March 9th. So it's after the finale airs, but basically it's at 92nd Y. My sisters and I are going to this event where we're going to, in a group, all watch the last episode of Traitors, and then the winner is going to come out and do a panel. Winner or winners, they said. Yeah.
So are you going to not watch it until you go? Like the finale will have already come out?
Yeah. Like I think
so are you going to you'll watch it and then watch it again?
I think so. I don't think I could wait. And it was still so, we saw the episode last time. We went to like a panel with Alan Cummings there, and we watched the episode where Phaedra says to Peter, like, this isn't The Bachelor. I don't need your rose. And it still felt great to watch it in person the second time because people were like, saying it along with her. It was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be like probably almost more fun to like know what's going to happen and like who's going to come out. Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that's it.
Yep.
Thank you all for listening.
Yay.
And we'll be back next time. We love you so much. Yay. And we'll see ya.
Cheers, lovebirds.
Thanks for listening to Can I Steal You for a Minute? Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you like the show, please leave a rating and review. Follow us on social media at Can I Steal You for a Minute Pod, and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com/Can I Steal You for a Minute.